Have you ever shipped a feature with your agent and not fully understood what's going on? Have you ever just checked the code, ran it, and figured out, it works, but I have no idea why or how? Well, you might benefit from HumanCode. HumanCode is an extension that I built to OpenCode, which allows you to be more in the loop and understand what's going on with the code that's written. So to demonstrate what's going on here, I will simply go to the terminal of the project of my choosing and type HumanCode. Now what this will spin up is a project called OpenCode. So if you're not familiar with this is basically a variation of, it's an alternative to Claude Code or cursor agents or what have you, but it's open source and therefore extensible. Write the Fibonacci algorithm, let's just say on main.py, which is just an empty Python file, and then let's see what Claude Sonnet 4.6 cooks. There we go. So it just wrote 16 lines of code, which is almost nothing, but it's an algorithm, right? Normally you will see the Claude Code or these agents write hundreds up to thousands of lines of code in one go. That's a possibility, right? And then it's up to you, the human, to at least try and understand what's going on before you make a PR, right? And I don't know about you, but that's a little bit hard to do if you haven't written the code. So to help with this situation, I've extended OpenCode to add a debug mode to it. What I'll do now is delete the code, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'll say write me the Fibonacci algorithm. So let's see here. It's going to say main is empty. Let me write out this plan. So it'll transition to the planning phase, and this is where it actually writes out the steps of what it should do. And then what it will do is it will create a debugger launch script based on the language you're coding in. So in this case it's Python. So built into VS Code we have this debugger. Then it will transition into debug mode and it will run the code directly. So what you'll see here is it wrote the Fibonacci code just like before, but now it'll stop a debugging point at exactly the lines that are required for you to understand it. So it stopped it here, and then it will ask you a question about what you think is happening to this line, and it will have access to the state of what's happening on this line. So it says question for you. We're starting with 0, 1, and we need 10 total terms. I'll just make up a number. Let's say like 4 times this loop will iterate. And then it will validate my answer. So not quite in this case. Okay. It says we start with 2 elements, right? And it'll continue to the next breakpoint and continue like that. So as we see here on this line, we just initialize a sequence. We're on the very first loop iteration. This is exactly what's happening. And the next question. You can also ask it to kind of continue without stopping, and then it will still include the breakpoint state into its context, and that will help the agent discover whether it made a mistake or not. This is very similar to Cursor's debug mode, where instead of using the built-in debugger, it will place debugging lines, but it's the same sort of concept. How do you install it? All you have to do is open up a terminal of your choice and then type brew install HumanCode. This is if your laptop supports, like all MacBooks support Homebrew, and then it will go ahead and install it for you. And that's it. Or alternatively, you can install it via npm. So npm install globally HumanCode, and that'll do the same thing. Now to launch it, all you have to do is open the directory you wish, and within the terminal type HumanCode. And it will launch the agent with the debug agent. So you'll notice in the bottom here that there's one MCP server enabled out of the box the moment you install it. So if we do /mcps, we will see that the debugger MCP server is connected. So that is done for you. The one other thing you have to set up is an extension called the agentic debugger. So you just have to open either VS Code or Cursor and go to the marketplace and then search agentic debugger, and then it should be around the first result, and then you install this, and that should be all you need to connect your IDE or editor to HumanCode. In addition to creating these breakpoints, the agent will also create a launch.json script within VS Code or Cursor based on whichever language you want. So that is to say, this is a completely language agnostic implementation of debugging. So hopefully this helps you, and hopefully you can squash more bugs and stay in the loop. Thanks everybody.